We're looking at the famous number 7 moments and the famous number 7 players. I want to start with Dancing Dougie Hall because he's one of my all-time favourite players, Doug, and his skills were unbelievable. Left foot, he's actually right foot, so he's a right-footer, Doug, but this left foot kick was magnificent, and I could sit and watch Dougie all day long as a kid, watching Dougie at the Whitten Oval, tough conditions, but he played a different game than everyone else with just how skillful Dougie was. He was an entertainer. One of those guys at that time. So even his marking, like some of these marks you see here from Dougie, were sensational. So one of the true, guys that we lose those personalities in the game, Damo, but Dougie was certainly one that was one of those entertainers.
Larger than life.
Yeah.
And Wayne Johnson, the Carlton player, so when he played football, I mean, his nickname was a Dominator. What a nickname that was. But he got his name in big games. So when it comes to finals football, he stepped up the Dominator. 4-time premiership player. He won a couple of best and fairest. But when the whips got cracking and you needed somebody to step up in the opening minutes of a grand final, in a final, the Dominator did step up. And just a great nickname too, wasn't it, the Dominator?
Yeah, it was.
Just a great team in that era, wasn't there?
Yeah.
I mean, you look at the list of champions, and the Dominator's obviously, one that jumps out. But what a blessing for Carlton supporters of that era.
And the big game component to all of those players, particularly him. And similar era, or same era, Gary Ayres incredibly won 2 Norm Smith medals amongst his 269 games. He was a 5-time premiership player, was a back pocket at one stage of his career and became a very, very good midfielder as well, but never lost the defensive mechanisms. He was as tough as they came. He won a best and fairest in that glorious era of the Hawthorn Flags, that being the 1986 season, being one of their many premierships in that period. So, yeah, when you talk about complete footballers, he was just about was that.
And when you talk about nicknames, Damo, Conan, not
that's
bad.
right, yeah.
What would you rather, the Dominator or Conan?
Dominator.
I like Dominator for a number of reasons.
But for Gary, I like Conan. Okay. Okay, now when I say Elvis, who do you think of?
The singer.
No,
I know where you're going. I know where you're going, TJ.
Nicky Elvis Winmar. Now, here's a guy, when he came over from South Fremantle, I think he played for in the West, in 1987, just made an instant impact and really did light the game up here in Victoria in particular. And that number 7, you can see just flying on so many occasions. 230 games with the St Kilda Football Club, a 2-time best and fairest. He's in their team of the century, 2-time All-Australian, and then, of course, went over to join you at the Western Bulldogs.
One season, yep.
Yeah, but just a gifted player, and a gifted player, as we know, having to endure so much garbage from the other side of the fence, and he continues to fight that fight to this day.
And we had Gavin Wanganeen on radio last year who said he's the greatest Indigenous player, in his opinion, that ever played the game. Nicky Winmar, famous round 7 moments. This was Plugger playing for St Kilda. It was 1994, and he did this to Peter Caven. And it was one of the nastiest moments I've ever seen on a football field from Big Plugger. You'd think it might put Plugger off, but you know what he did? He went on and kicked 11 goals. So he kicked 11 goals in this game.
7 in the last quarter, wasn't it?
And booted it, 7 in the last quarter. Booted into the supporters behind squad there. But what a superstar Plugger was for both clubs.
That night, Ron Joseph, who was the CEO of the Sydney Swans and had endured the Caven moment, went about the project to get Lockett to the Swans and got him there for the very start of the next season, where he kicked 100 goals in 1995 and helped them make a grand final in 96. Llordo, this is a different era, but the 1974 Windy Hill Brawl, it's still amazing scenes here when you look back on what happened. Mel Brown, of course, TJ got himself involved with Graham Jenkins. Kevin Sheedy was out there somewhere. There were trainers involved. There were supporters involved. There's a kid. There was a police horse comes in here somewhere. There's umpires. There's everything that could. Look at the kid. Look at the little kid. He's about 8 years old. Running around there. No one knows what he's doing. The Tigers ended up winning that game by 10 points. It was a ugly period for the game and one that we obviously don't see anymore.
And as Mel Brown told us, dare I revisit this conversation, Kevin Bartlett ran down the race and had all the drinks and the lollies while everyone was brawling. That's according to Mel Brown. I don't think KB would have done that.
Let's take you back to 1992, and Jason Dunstall kicked 17 goals, 5. So, as we know, Fred Fanning had the record for 18 goals. But playing against the Tigers this day, and there's not a heap of commentary on this one. There's only highlights of Jason in this game, but 17 goals, 5. He'd had 11 at half-time, so they were able to hold him to 6 in the second half, but 11 goals, 5, 16 shots. I think he took 17 marks for the day, the Chief, and what a player he was. I mean, he just didn't miss when he got it, and he was so strong but quick too, like one of the quickest players in his day. 17 goals for the game.
And then had that horrific head injury too. You might
Not long
remember.
after that, just copped an errant knee, and then the helmet went on. So 17 goals, what a big day that is.
2004 was a good year, and the mark of the year went to Ashley Sampi.
Wow.
That's beautiful, isn't it? Like, it's just a beautiful mark. It's as good a mark as you're going to see. You get the extra bounce with the extra little lift, the extra lift there.
The
See
double
that?
lifter.
The double lifter. That's a beautiful mark, and easily one of the best marks we've ever seen in the game's history.
Good stuff. That was round 7.